All right, let's dive into one of the most chilling, truly unsolved mysteries of the Cold War. I mean, this is a story that has baffled investigators and honestly captivated people for over 60 years. It's a real enigma, literally frozen in time. So picture this. It's February 1959. We're deep in the remote, snow-covered rural mountains in what was then Soviet Russia. And you have to understand the time and place here. They're practically characters in this story, just isolated, harsh, and completely unforgiving. And really, it all boils down to this one single question that still haunts us. It's a question that has launched 1,000 theories, from the totally scientific to the, well, the supernatural. What on earth happened to those 9 hikers? Okay, so to really start to unpack this mystery, we've got to look at the people who are at the very center of it all. Look, this wasn't a group of rookies. Not at all. We're talking about 9 young, super capable university students. These guys were experienced trekkers, strong, full of life, and they were actually looking for a tough, challenging adventure. They were absolutely prepared for the wilderness, but what they found out there, no one could have been prepared for that. So when the search party finally made it to their last known campsite, what they discovered, it wasn't just a tragedy. It was a scene that just completely defied logic. This is where the real puzzle begins. Okay, so the first totally bizarre clue, the tent. It was ripped open, but, and this is huge, it was cut open from the inside. So this wasn't some animal or person attacking them. Something made them frantically slash their way out into the deadly cold. And from there, the bodies were just scattered. Some were found over a kilometer away from their only shelter. Think about that. And let's just pause on that for a second. We're talking minus 30 degrees Celsius. That's unbelievably cold. In that kind of environment, your survival time without shelter is measured in minutes. So whatever they were fleeing from had to be more terrifying than the certainty of freezing to death. What could possibly be worse than that? And this is where the evidence just goes completely off the rails. Some of the hikers were found partially undressed, without shoes, which sounds insane, right? But it's actually a known phenomenon called paradoxical undressing that happens with severe hypothermia. Okay, maybe that makes sense. But then you have the injuries. Several of them had trauma that was just massive, like the kind of force you'd see in a high-speed car crash. We're talking crushed ribs, fractured skulls. And yet, get this, they had no major external wounds. How is that possible? Oh, and to make it even stranger, small traces of radiation were found on some of their clothes. It just makes no sense. So with this mountain of completely contradictory clues, what did the official Soviet investigation conclude? Well, they came up with this famously vague, almost poetic answer. They said the cause was a compelling natural force. I mean, what does that even mean? It was such a non-answer that it basically just threw gasoline on the fire of speculation. It left the door wide open for every theory imaginable. Which, of course, leads us right into the wild world of theories. Everything from fact to folklore, trying to make some sense out of this whole thing. You can pretty much sort all the theories into 2 big camps. On one side, you've got your natural explanations, right? Things like a weird kind of avalanche or just extreme hypothermia causing confusion. But then on the other side, well, that's where things get wild. We're talking secret military tests, a KGB cover-up, and yeah, even a Yeti attack or an alien encounter. People have gone there. So, the leading scientific theory these days, the one that many experts land on, is something called a slab avalanche. Just imagine a huge, solid plate of snow suddenly cracking and sliding down the mountain as one piece. It could absolutely generate enough crushing force to cause those horrific internal injuries, but without tearing up the whole area. And it would explain why they had to cut their way out of a tent that was suddenly being buried. And here's a totally wild, modern twist. You know the movie Frozen, the incredibly realistic snow animation? Well, scientists have used that exact same simulation technology to model the conditions on that mountain back in 1959. And guess what? The models show that a small, delayed slab avalanche was totally plausible. It's kind of amazing, and it adds a lot of weight to that theory. But, even with a pretty compelling scientific explanation, this story just doesn't go away. So the real question is, why? Why does the Dyatlov Pass incident still have such a powerful grip on us all these years later? Well, I think it's really a perfect storm of things. For one, it taps into that really primal fear of nature just being this raw, powerful force. Then you've got the whole Cold War setting, which adds this thick layer of secrecy and paranoia. But I think at its heart, it's just a deeply human tragedy. 9 young people with their whole lives ahead of them, gone. And they left behind this impossible puzzle that we just can't stop trying to solve. In a way, those 9 hikers have become more than just people. They're almost symbols. They're frozen in time on that mountain, a constant reminder of one of history's biggest unanswered questions. Their final, terrifying moments just lost to the snow. So maybe we'll never have a definitive answer. And you know what? Maybe that's the whole point. This story lasts not because we figured it out, but precisely because we haven't. It's this powerful reminder that even now in our high-tech world, some things just remain a mystery. Some questions are just meant to be asked, forever.